It was good, y'all. In today's video, we're gonna be reacting to how Ice Spice lost her entire audience in 1 year, bro. So I know y'all already been seeing, bro. Like Ice Spice, like last year, probably like a year and a half ago, bro. She was like the hottest, like artist. Like, all everybody could talk about was Ice Spice this, Ice Spice that, bro. Now, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? She lost a lot of weight. You know, she said she been to the gym. People saying Ozempic. It's a lot of stuff going on with her right now, feel me? And nobody really tuned into her no more, because it's like they was tuned in because of the image she had. You know, she was, you know what I'm saying? She was thick. She was thick. She had all that. So a lot of people was tuned in to that. Now it's like, yo, she lost that. And people were like, oh, nah, I'm out of here. We got to get straight into the video, see what's up with it, bro.
Ice Spice been in the worst position she's ever been in. She constantly in the news for people hating on her music or something bad going on. Then just a few months ago, she was in the news for nearly losing all of her monthly listeners on Spotify. All Hip Hop wrote this. So get this, between August 2023 and June 2024, Ice Spice saw her monthly listeners drop by a jaw-dropping 67%. According to a recent report, that's 31 million listeners gone. She hit her peak of 47 million listeners back in August 2023. But now, a mere month before her debut album, Y2K, she's sitting at 15 million. Then on top of all of that, the woman just got booed off stage. And it's not a surprise to people, if I'm being honest. Back in 2024, that wasn't really a year that was really crazy for her. But she had a lot going on back in 2023. 2024 came around, we would really see her music and career slow down a lot. We even seen her get hit with a lawsuit. All throughout 2024, she was facing this lawsuit. Basically, it was a rapper. He came out, he was like, look, Ice Spice a fraud. She had this song called In Her Mood come out. He said she a fraud. She stole his flow. She got the song from him. Basically, he claimed Ice Spice stole his sauce. Billboard wrote this. Ice Spice is facing a copyright lawsuit over allegations that her recent hit, In Her Mood, was copied from a Brooklyn rapper's earlier track. In a complaint filed Wednesday in Brooklyn federal court, the rapper D Chambers says that Ice Spice 2023 song is...
Who was D Chambers? I never said Brooklyn. I ain't never heard about D Chambers. He must have been like a real underground like artist. So if she did take a song, it makes sense why she probably like, nobody know who this dude is. I'm gonna just take a song. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's what happened, but if that was the case, I could see her probably like, he not a big artist. Like, I could take a song. Nobody really even going. You know what I'm saying?
Strikingly similar to his own song called In That Mood that was released in 2021. His lawyer said by every method of analysis, In Her Mood is forgery. D Chambers attorneys write in their complaint obtained by Billboard, any proper comparative analysis of the beat, lyrics, hook, rhythmic structure, and narrative context would demonstrate that In Her Mood was copied. And so he had this lawsuit up against Ice Spice. But there was a problem. You can't just go to the court and be like, oh yeah, so-and-so stole this from me. He had to prove that it was even possible that Ice Spice could have heard the song. Basically, court said you gotta prove that there was access to the song, and he did that. He came out, he was like, look, yeah, I showed the song to my IG followers. He said he had a decent amount of, but not only did he put this song on IG and maybe SoundCloud or something, this song was getting, quote unquote, significant airplay on many New York stations like Hot 97 or Power 105.1. Then the man went on to say that Ice Spice's main producer, the man that produced Ice Spice's song In A Mood, was listening to Hot 97 on his IG story less than 2 minutes before his song was played on air. So his lawyer was coming at Ice Spice and them hard. They was trying to pull everything they could for this. And you can actually read the entire lawsuit online, but I'm not reading the whole thing in this video. But after a few months of this lawsuit going on and Ice Spice lawyers trying to cook something up, we would see the Ice Spice settled. If you remember in my Ice Spice video from like July, I talked about this lawsuit, but it wasn't settled then. But in these months since then, that lawsuit was settled. After all that back and forth, a motion was filed back in September. In a motion filed in federal court Friday, attorneys from both sides said they agreed to resolve the lawsuit. Specific terms of the deals was not disclosed in the court filings, and neither side immediately returned requests for the comment. So it got settled in court, but nobody want to say specifically how it got settled. That's for you to figure out what that means. But if it passed that, leading up to 2024, she didn't even release her debut album yet. So she was pushing out all these singles. She was building up all this social media following. She was building up all of this that she had going on. Come around and drop this debut album. She was building a fan base, so had the Barbie movie. She was trying to really make plays for this album. And she didn't really start promoting this album until summer 2024 came around. She would start teasing this whole new album, Y2K. And for a minute, she was teasing. And what's crazy is the promo for this album was getting backlash, kind of foreshadowing what was going to happen once she dropped this album. See, just off the announcement of the cover art, people was mad. Now, if I'm gonna be honest, it don't matter to me. It's not a terrible cover. I done seen worse. Y'all seen that Juice WRLD cover. That's a lot worse than what Ice Spice had going on. But people online was real picky about this cover, like they are with anything else. One article wrote this: the artwork features other nods to New York City roots, including a custom subway sign and a Metro card, along with a trash can tag with the name of her album. The cover was quickly trashed by fans on social media, with one writing, Y2K could have been a futuristic take. Like, how do we miss it? This looks like a ghetto Sesame Street. It was kind of crazy. So, before the album even came out, people was already building narratives about it. And if you watch my last video, this sound real familiar, don't it? People did the same thing to Lil Baby. They formed all these narratives about his album before it even came out. So they was forming these narratives about Ice Spice album, and the album came out and kind of proved all the narratives right. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The album flopped bad, and it was made so much worse by someone of her size. Think about how big Ice Spice was. Over the past few years, she had songs with Nicki Minaj. She was featured on the Barbie movie soundtrack. She had a song with Taylor Swift. I think the biggest artist on the planet. Now, I might be over-exaggerating right there, but Taylor Swift up there, my nigga. So all of this just goes to say that Ice Spice is not no random. She had the whole industry pushing behind her. And for her debut album to come out and sell 20K, that's kind of crazy. But after the sale, she stood on it. She was happy, and she was really appreciating that people even listened to her instead of, complaining online saying that, oh, the industry tried to blackball her like some of these other rappers would do. Ice Spice is celebrating the first week numbers for her long-awaited debut studio album, Y2K. Per chart data, the Bronx rapper's full-length project debuted at number 18 on the Billboard 200 with 28 equivalent album units, who previously scored 4 top 10 hits on the Billboard Top 100. Ice responded to the news by celebrating how far she came from her last EP in 2023. I mean, that's a fair take. Her first EP sold 15K, her next album sold 28K.
What labels are really good at doing is creating brainwashing to fans to say this is the hot thing, and if you're not tuned in, it's FOMO. And whether they started by fake numbers or fake stories or fake relationship, eventually you buy in. And that's what I always tell you. Like, remember I was talking about the botting situation? The botting situation don't mean, if somebody botted some views, it don't mean that 3 months later it's gonna be 90% botted. It's probably gonna be 5% botted. The bot is just to get you brainwashed. Yo, this is hot. You're missing out if you ain't listening to it. So you know what you do? If everybody listen, let me go listen. You go listen, you might like it, or maybe you don't even really like it, but it's kind of like FOMO. There's no reason why Ice Spice needs to drop an album. She should be dropping singles, collabs. You know what I would have done? I would try to get her with Sexy Red and drop not an album, a 4-pack, something that's really an EP, 4 songs, and we're gonna work all 4 of those songs as singles. Again, I don't think her label did her any favors. They're getting on the right features, blah, blah. Now, some of the things by her own doing hasn't helped her. Falling out with Nicki. A few other things that I won't mention. Her best friend keep exposing her. But still it's Ice Spice. Very pretty girl. They're marketing her of sexuality. That's working. And even though she's not the best songwriter and the songs aren't the most prolific, they are working for the short period of time. And her songs had a burnout period of about 2 to 3 months. So as long as she kept replenishing, her buzz seemed like it was continuing. Also, she fits the bill. Pretty, young, attractive, doesn't say much. We don't know her opinions about nothing. We don't even what she likes for breakfast.
But not only did it sell 20K, it also sparked up a couple of beefs. So leading up to this album, she had kind of been getting into it with a couple rappers. She was beefing with Latto a little bit, getting into it with Cardi B a little bit. But on this album, she had a couple of lyrics for some of these artists. And Cardi B and Ice Spice had ended up getting into their own situation about the album. But this album also made people realize that Ice Spice is garbage. I'm not gonna lie to you. People had always looked at her like an unserious.
And I said it, bro. I might said, I'm like, yo, bro, how lyrics is simple lyrics, bro. We can make those. We can make those lyrics right now, and just put it in a song. And people be like, oh no, your Ice Spice fake tough. Y'all only, and I was telling people, I'm like, y'all only saying that because how she look, bro. She got the body, so y'all get brainwashed off that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all not like, I'll listen to the music, and I'm like, this is what y'all listening to, like. So I already seen the comments, even since when she first dropped Munch. Like, you could tell it was just the image that was pushing her out there. She couldn't rap. She wasn't like a Glorilla. Glorilla make hits. Lotto, you know what I'm saying? They like actually, you feel me? But Ice, her lyrics is just so simple. It's like, she's not talking about nothing with being a Munch. Everything is about, like, what she said? I'm his son. She says a crazy lyrics. I'm his poopy. He's my something. Talking about you think you the shit, you're not even a fart. Like, stuff like that. People are like, oh my God, that's hard. Oh my God. It's not hard, bro. It's simple lyrics. But I get it. Some of y'all are still young, so to y'all is like, it's fire. But for the people that's like more older, it's like, what? Like, garbage.
Artist, but this proved to everybody that Ice Spice was nothing more than a gimmick rapper. People seen, oh, it's a fine lady. That's why they listen to it. If Ice Spice didn't look how she looked, would people still be listening to the music? But before I keep going on, make sure you tap in with me on IG at Get Like Prince. I'm trying to grow over there too. But past this album, the controversy ain't stopped. See, Ice Spice had been online posting shit like, oh yeah, I'm in the gym, I'm eating better, and she was starting to get skinny. And y'all know how toxic the internet is when it comes to anything. She would get online and post a pic just trying to show off that she'd been in the gym, and people would get to being crazy. People would get to start talking wild to Ice Spice. They'd be like, oh, you on Ozempic, oh, you look nasty, blah, blah, blah. Really talking down on her. And the rumors about Ozempic and how her body was looking was getting so bad that she had to come out responding to everything.
It's called the gym. It's called eating healthy. It's called being on tour.
Yes.
How y'all feel about that, bro? Because I ain't gonna lie, she lost that weight kind of fast, bro. I don't think people understand it. It's not easy to just lose that amount of weight, though. I will say, like, that's a lot of weight. Like, she's skinny now, bro. Like, if you see how she was, y'all know, like, she was real thick, bro. You don't just go from real thick. Even if you slim down, you still not OD. Like, she, damn near her stomach is damn. Like, she's like a steak now, man. You feel me? Her face, like, I don't know. I'm not saying she on the Ozempic, but I don't know, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, that, it's interesting for sure.
Like, what the hell? Maybe if I was sitting home all day, it'd be easier to stay big.
But by this point, Ice Spice was kind of at the lowest point in her career. And it's interesting seeing that because 2024 was a year full of gimmick rappers. Dave Blunts, for example. The nigga blew up because the man was fat. He was rapping with a high-pitched voice. So people was like, oh, let's go listen to Dave Blunts. He was getting so much traction, in fact, the nigga was performing at Juice WRLD Day. Another example, we had Ian blow up because he was this white dude rapping like Future and Gucci Mane. And we done had so many other artists in the underground and even the mainstream that done came up off gimmicks, off doing something that don't match their image, or looking a certain way, or doing this or doing that. So it was a lot of gimmicks going on. And I'm not saying none of this in a disrespectful way. I'm just making a real observation. And you know yourself, if you really been keeping up with hip hop, you done seen a lot of the gimmicks going on. But Ice Spice kind of fell into that trap where people just thought she looked good, and that was her gimmick. Because the music never really sounded good, if I'm being honest with you. But for her downfall to happen in the year of the gimmick rappers is very telling. But all of this leads up to what I spoke on at the start of the video. She was already receiving all this backlash from everything else that was happening. Then we would see this backlash for the first time come at her in person. So she was in Australia and she was performing for New Year's, but it was New Year's and she was performing right before 12, right before the final show, like the headlines of the show. The two headliners was a duo, a drum and bass duo, and they were like doing the New Year's performance. So this how it went. Ice Spice show came around 10:30, but she ended up showing 25 minutes late to her show. So she started at 10:55 instead of the regular time. And this is where the problems would come. Guardian wrote this: she was 25 minutes late and starting her show at 10:55, and after only 2 songs, she left. Gold Coast-based music producer and journalist Brenton Larney was in the crowd for the 6-minute show. At 11:01 p.m., they gave her an extra minute, then they cut the mic and you heard a collective sigh from the crowd. They had been waiting for this for a while and all they got was 2 songs. So it was a bit ridiculous and real disrespectful how she just walked off. She was laughing, they tried to give her flowers for her birthday and she shrugged it off. Larney said that Ice Spice appeared quiet as if she didn't even want to be there to begin with. And went on to say it was just real disrespectful, especially seeing with all the cancellations and stuff we done had in the Australian music scene. The article went on to say this: Mia Sims, a 20-year-old dance teacher from the Gold Coast, said that she and many others was already waiting 30 minutes before Ice Spice show was scheduled to start to get a good place in the mosh pit. Meaning, many had been pressed together for almost an hour in total for the brief set, for the 6-minute set, for 2 songs people waited an hour for. Mia said she came out, played 2 songs, and they weren't even 2 of her most popular songs. They was just 2 songs. She said it seemed like kind of a bit of a joke, like she didn't really care that much, especially when she hasn't posted anything on her socials and apologized, so I couldn't imagine being one of her biggest fans in this habit. So Ice Spice kind of dragged herself into this. She showed up late, didn't apologize, performed 2 songs, walked off, and it was bad. People paid for this. It was probably some people in that crowd who paid to see Ice Spice. And it's not really nothing new. We done seen this happen to some artists over the years. Remember Frank Ocean, Coachella? That man went viral because of how bad that performance was. And they kind of throwing this Ice Spice situation in with that. But what makes it worse is the state her career was already in leading up to that moment. So for her to put this on top of everything just made her look worse. Then that ain't even mentioning what came out as I was making this video. So remember, Ice Spice had dropped her Y2K album back in July. And time comes for her to drop this deluxe, and she does it in December. She does it at the end of the year. And can you guess how much Ice Spice sold first week? Ice Spice sold 4.8 thousand.
Oh, nah. Nah, that's crazy. Nah, that's crazy. 4K? Yeah, it's over.
1,000 copies first week with her deluxe. And people really looking at her crazy right now. Hot New Hip Hop wrote this: are folks taking these numbers too out of context? Ice Spice capped her for her 2024 by releasing Y2K I'm Just a Girl deluxe version to her July album. But it seemed like it came at a bad time. However, new reports suggest that the project sold a measly 4,800 copies in its first week, which is very low even in the music industry environment that positions streaming as the main consumption model, thus lowering wholesale performance. However, despite many fans clowning and speculating on this perceived drop-off, there are a couple factors that could explain this. One is how these numbers might account for a handful of songs on the project as a whole, as singles for it had been previously released. And it's crazy seeing her flop like this because her social media presence is really big. She's constantly going viral for something, and for that not to translate to the music is real telling. If I can compare it to anyone who goes viral for shit outside of the music, but it gives their music more attention, it gotta be Playboi Carti. Think about all the times this man done went viral from wearing some BS, saying something stupid, doing something stupid, and it translated back to the music. Remember a few months ago when the man was wearing a thong and it went viral everywhere? Well, that happened and it kind of translated back to the music. His music kept getting more attention. That album he was hyping up, it just brought attention to that. People like, oh, Carti wearing a thong? Like, bro, his music can't be that good. That's probably how people was feeling. And for them not to feel that way about Ice Spice is kind of crazy. For Ice Spice to sell 4,000 copies first week when she's always in the news about something, it's saying a lot. I'm curious on if she could turn her career around or not, because she in a real similar situation to Lil Baby. Remember how I spoke about they was building narratives on his album? Did the same thing to her. And in my last video, I spoke on how he was on his last leg right now, and that album that he dropped on Friday gonna determine a lot for his career. If you want to hear more about Lil Baby, that vid on screen.
I ain't gonna lie. Now, one thing we know is the same way your career could go down, when you fall off, you can always get back up. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't wishing her bad on Ice Spice. I hope she could turn it around, but as of right now, bro, she looking cooked right now, bro. If y'all enjoyed the video, leave a like on the vid. I'm gonna catch y'all the next one, bro.